The Reno-Sparks housing market has taken a turn, and it's not business as usual. Prices, inventory, and buyer demand have all shifted. And whether you're selling or buying, the changes can mean big opportunities, big mistakes. Let's break down what's really happening in the market for August 2025 so you can make the smartest move possible. Let's go.
Assist you sell way smarter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update show, this time for August 2025. I really appreciate you joining us. If you do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. Help us continue to put out this great content. Before we dive into the actual information, a couple items to make note of, and one is that this is for the Reno-Sparks area only and includes single-family residential property, basically houses, townhomes, condos. Does not include multifamily, apartments, business opportunities, lots and land, etc. Now, these charts are broken down as follows. The main data point we're going to discuss is usually in the yellow box right here at the top. On the right side will be a year-over-year comparison. We like to take a apples for apples comparison. So in this case, it'll be July of 2024 compared to July of 2025. And of course, right in the middle here is the difference. The bottom of this chart, most charts will have about 10 years of data. And this particular chart has interest rates on the side, but there'll be different variables, and I'll point those out as we get to those charts. So let's go ahead and dive in. Interest rates are now 6.7%, which is actually down slightly from this time last year, where they're at 6.9%, or down 1.9% overall. But one thing I wanted to point out is this channel forming here. And I don't expect much movement in terms of interest rates over the coming months, maybe first part of 2026. But as of now, I would expect interest rates to stay in that same range. Now, the median sale price, this gets the most coverage, but it hasn't really gone anywhere over the last couple of years. We're sitting at $546,995, which is down 3.9% where it was last year at $569,000. But you can see that same channel forming here. This is what average mortgage payments look like. $4,062, which is actually down 5% from last year. We're sitting at $4,276. Now let's dive into some of the listing information. New listings, these are listings that came on the market in July. So some of these houses may be sold, some may be still on the market, but this is just how many people raised their hand and said, yep, I want to sell my home. I want to put it on the market in the month of July. 669, which is up slightly compared to last year, basically flat where we had 658. I do like to break these charts down by price range as well, so you can see where the new listings are coming from. Along the bottom here are the price breakdowns, and most of these charts will have the same. It's 100 to 200,000, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 500,000, 5 to 6, and so on. And then up here it gets to $1 million, $1.5 million, and $1.5 million plus, and this is the number of listings. As you can see, the majority of new listings are taking place between 4 and around 650, 700. Starts to fall off a little bit after that. Now let's go over to active. Now, what's the difference between new and active? Well, active, this is the number of homes that are available out there. So if you're thinking about buying a home, this is the number of homes you could go buy or go look at in the month of July. Also, if you're thinking of selling, this would be your direct competition. How many homes are on the market? So these are ones that might have been new in June or May or even July that are still on the market and available. 1,592. And this is the first chart that kind of raises your eyebrows a bit, because last year we only had 1,095. So active inventory, in other words, homes on the market, is up 45+% from this time last year. Now, if we look at active by price point, this is where it starts to get interesting. You can see the majority of actives are in that same price range as the new, which is 4 to 500, 5 to 6. 6 to 650, 700. But what I want you to keep your eye on is all this inventory, all these homes for sale up in the 750 to $1.5 million plus range. There's quite a few of them available. Now let's talk about closed sales. Now these are just sold homes, basically, homes that sold in the month of July. Basically flat from last year. 508 compared to 513 last year, down 1%. Now, where are all these sales taking place? What price range? And as you can see, that's similar price range here. The 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7 is where the majority of sales. But I want you to notice, once again, is look at the upper end price range. Very few sales. If I go back to active by price, look at the number of active homes on the market. Again, very few sales. That's what has me concerned. Now, if I go back to the number of actives on the market, 1,592, up 45%. But if I go over to closed sales, basically flat. So we have Over 45% more homes for sale, but no more are selling than they did last year. What does this lead to? Usually, obviously, more opportunities for buyers, but more competition for sellers generally leads to softer prices. We'll talk more about that here in just a second. Now, what's the supply of inventory? Right now, it's at 3.1 months. So this is basically, let's say there's 1,500 homes on the market. We sell 500 a month. There would be 3 months of inventory. Those aren't the numbers, but I'm just using that as an example. Right now, we have 3.1 months of inventory. And what's interesting about this chart is if you look, we have been extremely low on inventory in the number of homes for sale in terms of month supply, really for the last 6 or 8 years. Last time we saw inventory this high was back in 2016, nearly 10 years ago. So quite a while. So we're starting to see inventory jump. As a matter of fact, we're up 46.8% compared to this time last year. We only had 2.1 months of inventory. Now, if we look at that same supply chart by price range, you can see, look at the number of months of inventory we have in that upper end price range. Even the lower end stuff is getting more. The only place where inventory is still kind of tight is down at that 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7 range right in here, which is where most of the activity is taking place. Now I'm going to bring back a chart from last month when I teased you and I said there's a chart that's up 1,000%. Well, this chart isn't up 1,000%, but it's still up 755+%. And that is unsold listings. And unsold listings are basically homes that were on the market and didn't sell for one reason or another. They pulled off the market. Either the seller said, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to sell it anymore. I can't get my price. Maybe they left it on the market for 2 or 3, 4, 5 months. It didn't sell. It expired. They pulled it off the market. But the point is, these are homes that were on the market that did not sell. 154. Again, up over 755%. Only 18. But what's very interesting about this chart and what has me concerned is if you look at the previous peaks in unsold homes, January, all the way through January, even previously this year in January of 2025, we had that peak of unsold properties, which makes sense if you think about it because, well, it's the winter months. Once Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, all that stuff approaches, people aren't buying and selling homes much, so you tend to get a little bit of extra supply. So to see a massive spike and peak really in June and July this year, it's pretty telling. So you combo that up with unsold houses, much more inventory and active listings on the market, sales flat, and interest rates that are stubbornly high. That leads to a softening market. And that's what I said at the open is the market has shifted. It's absolutely shifted. So what does this mean for you? Real quickly, if you're a seller, it's time to pay attention to your realtor. It's time to get really good pricing advice and keep a close eye on the market. You have to get aggressive. What you may have sold for 6 months, a year, 2 years ago isn't going to be much different than what you sell today. As a matter of fact, there's more competition. So you're going to have to lower your price, get more aggressive. It's better to sell now, get it sold, get it priced right, than be sitting here 6 months or a year from now, because what you get today may be very different from what you get tomorrow. And the other thing to consider is builders. And there's a ton of new builders out there that are offering incentives like crazy. They're offering loan buy downs with lower interest rates, teaser interest rates. They're offering free upgrades. They're offering all kinds of incentives. So if you're in an area with a lot of new construction around it, it's going to be tough to compete if you're trying to sell your home when they're giving away massive incentives. So keep a really close eye on the market. And of course, if you have any questions about your home value, the market, what it's going to take to get your home sold, you can always reach out and give us a call. As far as buyers go, it's actually good news because there's more options for you now. You don't have to be, in a hurry like you used to be. You don't have to grab the first home that you see. You can shop around. You can look for the best value out there. And if you're thinking of buying a home, the best place to start, look around, but give us a call. We can give you an idea on what the market's about, where the values are, and we can make sure you get the best value possible. Assist to Sell is, without question, the best value in town, especially when it comes to selling your home. We will sell your home for only $49.95, and if your home is over $500,000, it's only 1%. Well, that's it. Absolute full service, meaning we show your house, advertise it, do all the paperwork, we do absolutely everything. Don't hesitate to reach out. It's forrenohomes.com, info@forrenohomes.com, or 775-688-6060. I wish you nothing but the best. Thanks for joining us once again. Hope you have a wonderful August. We'll see you next month here on the Reno-Sparks Real Estate Market Update Show. Bye-bye.
Assist to sell way smarter.